of false statements and exaggerated claims made by Peter Brown in this campaign for mayor of Houston. The news media have already caught him in numerous statements that just aren't true, from padding his supporters list to claiming credit for the work of others. I want to comment on the latest exaggeration, and this is a falsehood that deliberately smears my reputation, but it directly attacks the controller's office, and you're not going to go after my people, and I'm not respond. I refer to a piece of attack mail in which he makes charges that are so incorrect that he is clearly doing this in complete contempt for the truth. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can see Mayor White's statement on this issue as well. I accept being criticized for things I do in public office. It goes with the territory. But I will not stand by and be attacked for things that I did not do. And I will not stand by and watch someone attack the integrity of the great men and women in the city controller's office. I'm not going to go through each item today, but we have a detailed analysis of the recent mail piece that Mr. Brown put out. An analysis that shows that he either knew it was false or perhaps slept through those council meetings where these issues were discussed over and over and over again. Do you have any questions?
How surprised are you that the tone of the campaign in general has shifted so much in the last week?
Desperate candidates do desperate things. We are in the last few days of the campaign, the last 2 days of early voting. Mr. Brown is trying to hide behind his money and throw as many things out there as possible and see whether they stick. It's not going to work. I'm not going to allow him to get away with lies, and I trust that you will fact check everything that he puts out.
All the polls have shown that he's ahead of everybody else, so in theory he shouldn't have to attack the other candidates. Why do you think he's doing this?
I'm not going to speculate as to why he's doing it. It's not going to work, and I'm not going to let him get away with it.
Our poll shows early.
There are polls, and there are polls. We've released the most recent poll from my campaign, which shows that I'm in the lead. And I assume that the other campaigns have been doing polling as well. Maybe Mr. Brown should release his. Maybe they show that he's not in that strong lead that you seem to believe he is. And that's why he's going on the offensive.
Without going through the entire list that you have there, what are some of the allegations that are false and not true that he has disseminated to the public?
In a recent attack mailer, he has lifted statements from an external audit of the city of Houston and implied that material weaknesses discussed in that audit were a problem with the city controller's office or the analysis done by the city controller's office. And there was a memo yesterday from Mayor Bill White pointing out that the material weaknesses described were the reason that the city launched its new financial system. We came into office, realized that we had a problem, and we tried to address that problem. It took us 3 years to wade through inherited issues, a legacy financial system that was inadequate for what we needed to do, and the Deloitte letter clearly states that the material weaknesses were due to the inability to get data from the departments of the city. So not only does he take something that is not a problem with the controller's office and blame it on the controller's office, but he takes something that is a centerpiece of what we have done over the last few years to improve the ability to do financial analysis within the city and to protect the financial records of the city and twist it. Again, he either doesn't understand plain English, he missed the number of meetings where this was discussed over and over again.
How would you describe his tenure as a council member? One of the things you mentioned was he may have been asleep. How do you describe his tenure as a council member on Houston City Council?
I am not a member of Houston City Council, but his colleagues on The city council called him out-of-town Brown. He seemed to spend an inordinate amount of time in the south of France at his wife's villa, and in fact, they even had a little name tag made up for him that they placed at his seat at the council table for when he was out of town.
This is not the first time that you've had to deal with Peter Brown and his alleged inaccuracies. Are you tired of it yet?
Well, there are inaccuracies. This is an attack on the Comptroller's office, but Peter Brown has been claiming credit for the recycling program in the city of Houston. I didn't particularly weigh into that, but there was another time when the mayor and the solid waste director had to point out that I chaired the task force that made the recommended changes in how we picked up trash in the city of Houston and how we could improve our recycling in the city of Houston. If you don't have a record to stand on, if you don't have a record to run on, you have to take credit for other people's work, and you have to raise false issues.
You seem upset.
I've been in politics a long time, and I expect this kind of stuff, but I will stand up and defend the integrity of Houston Comptroller's office, and I will stand up and defend the city of Houston against allegations that we are billions of dollars in debt and on the verge of bankruptcy. That is irresponsible, absolutely irresponsible for an elected official in the city of Houston to say.